Each year, the 12 districts of Panem shall offer up in tribute one young man and woman between the ages of 12 and 18 to be trained in the art of survival and to be prepared to fight to the death.
It's your first year, Prim. Your name's only been in there once. They're not gonna pick you.
I volunteer as tribute!
Katniss Everdeen substitutes herself to save her sister in the film adaptation of Suzanne Collins' New York Times bestseller, The Hunger Games. My wife and I had the privilege of reading the trilogy together as a couple before we went and saw the movie, light years ahead in a literary sense from novels like Twilight, actually not insulting to the intelligence. Even the love triangle makes sense in the confusing post-apocalyptic world of Panem, where a girl isn't so much concerned with whether or not she chooses this boy or that boy, but whether she should even get married in a landscape that has such a little hope. Katniss certainly doesn't want to have children. Why bring children into such a bleak world? Her stoicism and cynicism set the stage for some great themes to discuss on identity and substitution that bubble up in the narrative of the film.
I just keep wishing that I could think of a way to show them that they don't own me. If I'm gonna die, I want to still be me.
When the chips are down, these civilized people will eat each other. It's what the Joker preached to Batman in The Dark Knight, and it's very true of the narrative in The Hunger Games, that when push comes to shove, even children 12 to 18 will turn to bloody slaughter. That people will do anything they can for self-preservation. Peter doesn't want the game to change him, but the reality is he misunderstands our identity. Our identity is really crystallized, really defined when the pressure of life comes on. Our identity is not who we are when we're in a serene environment. It's what comes out of our hearts, what comes out of our hands when the pressure of life is on. Our stimuli doesn't define us, it's how we respond to that stimuli. And in an extreme situation like the Hunger Games, we see PETA put to that test as the games begin. Now, The Hunger Games came out in March and is set to dominate the box office well through Good Friday and Easter, which is oddly appropriate. In The Hunger Games, we find the world of Panem still recovering from a rebellion. All 12 districts have to pay annual tribute. They have to send a boy and a girl, essentially as sacrifice, with the shred of hope that one of them, one of 24, will emerge with their life intact. When Prim is chosen, Katniss offers herself as a proxy, a substitute, in tribute. Something that's never happened before in District 12. It surprises everyone because the only people who typically volunteer are seeking glory or they're crazy, certain that they're the ones who are going to win. No one sacrifices himself for love. This sacrificial act runs counter to our survival instincts, how we ought to preserve ourselves and maintain our own existence. Jesus himself taught something very counter to that when he said, "Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." When Katniss offers herself as proxy, as substitute, she's reflecting not just a glimmer of Jesus' teaching, but actually the ultimate sacrifice Jesus made himself. The people in the Old Testament of the 12 tribes of Israel offered an unblemished and perfect lamb as a sacrifice for sin, as an atonement sent to God and his kingdom for their rebellion against him. When Jesus came, though, he said, "I offer myself as tribute, as sacrifice, as substitutionary atonement for all of my siblings, all the sons and daughters of God who come to him and are covered by my substitution." And he didn't just win by surviving, he actually died and then rose from the dead. This moment of substitution that plays itself out in the fictional narrative of The Hunger Games is a glimmer, a flicker of the ultimate substitution playing out in the shared mega-narrative that overarches all of our lives. In our hearts, we know we've rebelled not against a corrupt capital, but against the kingdom of God. But God, instead of waiting for some sibling to raise their hand and offer themselves, sent his own son who gave himself willingly as that substitution to mend and heal all relationships, to bring the kingdom back together again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the kind of hope, this is the kind of future desired by the characters in The Hunger Games. A world where no more tributes are needed, where no more atoning sacrifices have to be given, where the rebellion has been and all of its effects has been healed forever, and people are brought together in unity and harmony. No more games. As you go see this movie, enjoy it on a whole nother level by considering these ideas of our identity, of substitution, how these play out in our real life and our shared story in Jesus, because in Him the odds are ever in our favor. I'm James Harleman. You can find more content on movies and mega narrative at cinemagogue.com, and until next time, watch to glorify.